What is cost estimation? This short video is going to be an attempt to answer to that fundamental question in 7 steps or in 7 questions. This short presentation is for executives, project managers, engineers, and anyone that is interested to understand the basic concept behind the process of cost estimation. Cost estimation is basically a process of providing an approximate future value of given good or services. The first steps or the first concept to understand here is that who is going to provide that cost estimate? They are professionals, they are cost estimators, they are construction estimators, and they are also cost engineers that have knowledge of finance, engineering, project management, construction management. But basically, the process of cost estimation requires those professionals to have knowledge and skills in cost engineering. That is about the first concept. Here is that someone may just say, okay, we are just talking about an approximation here. Is cost estimation about guessing? Clearly, no. Because anyone can just guess about anything. But cost estimation, when we talk about an approximate future value here, it's not about guessing. But what is it about? Is there any threshold for that? Is there any baseline? The answer is clearly yes. The threshold here, when we talk about cost estimation, or when we talk about the approximate value, it is that value offered by the supplier and which the buyer is willing to pay. That's the threshold. It is basically the theoretical equilibrium between the supply and demand. Supply by the supplier and demand by the buyer. So in the process of cost estimating, we're going to be looking at that threshold, at that value, at that equilibrium point, the value which the supplier is willing to offer and the buyer is willing to pay. That is what we are talking about here. And future value, the third concept here, the concept of future value. How can anyone predict the future? Is that possible? Is it not very, are we not pretending? Can anyone predict the future? That may sound a little bit confusing, but in cost estimation, they are not predictions. We're not predicting the future. We're not pretending to predict the future. No. Instead, cost estimation is all about using knowledge from past experience. Using knowledge from past experience. That's it. That's all. And when we talk about experience here, it's something that already happened. That happened in the past. So, future costs are basically alternative value based on historical costs and productivity trend. That may sound hypothetical. Yes. But future costs are based, those future value we're talking about here are based on historical costs. Let me just take an example. Yesterday, it took a construction worker 1 hour to install a given door. That was yesterday. So clearly, based on that experience, we're going to assume that under similar conditions, today is going to take also the same number of hours to install the same type of door. That is knowledge from experience. That sounds clearly hypothetical, because what if I do not clearly interpret that past experience? Let me just put this in another term. How good? What if I'm wrong in interpreting, in analyzing the past experience? Technically speaking, how good would be the estimate? Or how accurate? Or what is the expected accuracy of that estimate? Clearly, when we talk about the accuracy, it means that we may not be accurate. And if we may not be accurate, there's a risk. It means that there's going to be a variability. between the good and the not good. There's a variance, and clearly lower variances are going to be preferred. Anyone going to like lower variance because lower variance is going to mean lower risk. Higher variance is going to be higher risk. I want somebody that's going to have good estimate than somebody that's going to have incorrect estimate. But are we sure how good are we going to be? How good? 10% good? 20% good? How good are we going to be? Are we going to be? Or how incorrect are we going to be? But who is going to define the good? The answer here is that in the industry, stakeholders, architects, engineers, clients, government representatives, those people who are going to agree on the common language. They're going to agree on, okay, when we talk about this type of estimate, it's going to be this level of accuracy. When we talk about rough order of magnitude, it's going to be, they're going to agree on a common language to use. For instance, there are three main category of cost estimate. I'm talking about the main here. I'm not using the terminology because they're going to have different names in the industry. But basically, in common language, there's going to be the rough order of magnitude estimate, the preliminary cost estimate, and the detailed cost estimate. And for each of these estimates, you're going to have accuracy. Rough order of magnitude, you're going to have high risk or high variance. Preliminary cost estimate, you're going to have medium. Detailed cost estimate, you're going to have lower risk. Yeah, detailed cost estimate is going to be more accurate. But is it always necessary to have detailed cost estimate? The answer is no, because in most cases, in order to produce the detailed cost estimate, it's going to take more time. It's going to be more time consuming. And it's going to require more detailed specifications about the good or service. Do you want to pay for that? Or do you want to need high level or rough order of magnitude estimate? The purpose of the estimate matters here. Why do you need the estimate for? Do you need the estimate for feasibility studies, or do you need the estimate for tender? Or why do you need the estimate? An estimate with 50% variance may be used for feasibility studies. That may be acceptable for that, but not for budget authorization. When you are doing concept screening, you're just analyzing different type of projects. Yes, at that point you may use rough order of magnitude estimate. You may use an estimate with higher variance because you just want to select between different concepts. But at the point you are more into your project development, you're going to need an estimate that's more accurate. Then we talk about the information here. How does information relate to the estimate? Let's just take a simple example here to understand it. Yesterday, a construction worker installed a door. It took 1 hour. Then what if I need to install another door today and I just tell you that, okay, it is going to be the same type of door? Clearly, you're going to say that it's going to take 1 hour under the same condition. Yes. But what if I add another information? Additional information is that the door you need to install today, the weight of that door is 40 kilograms. Then you're going to adjust your estimate, because maybe the door installed yesterday was not 40 kilograms. That is more information. And in cost estimation, what we need to understand is that the more information you know about a good or service, the more accurate will be your estimate. Let's just take another common sense example. Somebody just call you and say, okay, I need you to buy a car, or I need you to tell me what is the cost of buying a car. What's the cost of buying a car? If somebody just gives you that high level information, yes, somebody may just say, okay, maybe $10,000 in value, maybe $20,000 in value, maybe $300,000 in values. Yes, anyone can just give that. But in order to be more accurate, I add more information. I need a car with front wheel drive. I need a car with leather seat. I need a car with this or that. So the more information you have, the more accurate is going to be your estimate. Basically, accuracy of the estimate is dependent upon specification or information about the good or service. In order to sum up everything we were just talking about here, you just take an example of somebody that calls you, a client that calls you, or a client that needs to know what is the expected future cost to build an office for an office building that's going to house 2,000 employees. That's the only information I have. Then the clients want me to provide an expected future cost that is more accurate. Then, as a cost engineer, you may have to make experience-based assumptions about the various systems of the building. Is it going to be concrete structure or steel structure? What's going to be the structure of your building? What's going to be the type of building envelope you're going to have? Is it going to be bricks? Is it going to be curtain walls? Or is it going to be aluminum? I don't know. But you're going to have to make experience-based assumption. What kind of foundation are you going to have? In order to make those assumptions, usually you're going to use building codes. Let me just take an example. How many bathrooms or how many toilets are you going to need in that office building? Then you're going to refer to the building code. And the building code is usually going to point that for this number of employees and in an office building, you're going to need this number of toilets. So the number of toilets depends on the number of employees. And those are the kind of information that I talk about, experience-based assumptions. But if you don't know about the building code, for instance, you will not be able to do your estimate, to be more accurate in your estimate. What kind of HVAC system are you going to use in your estimate? You need to have at least some kind of fundamental knowledge of HVAC system, electrical systems, and those different plumbing systems, fire system in your buildings. That's very important. Then once you have made those assumptions about your various building systems, you need to combine them with the historical cost. Again, historical cost is something in the past. Then if yesterday, okay, similar system was installed at this cost, use that, you combine together, and you'll be able to provide an estimate that is more accurate. Do you need a cost estimate as a client? You need to get one, but one that is well documented by an independent cost engineer. And that will help you, that will guide you into your decision making, so that basically you're going to make an informed decision. That's what it's all about.